JJK has a lot of broken abilities, but nothing in the series feels more unfair than Domain Expansions. The second one opens, the entire fight changes. And honestly, I think people have gotten way too used to how insane some of these domains are. Because when you actually think about it, some of them shouldn't even exist. One turns a courtroom into a death sentence. Another floods your brain with so much information that a second already destroys you. So today we're ranking the 5 most broken domain expansions in JJK, and I already know one domain is going to start arguments. At number 5, Self-embodiment of perfection. Mahito's domain is terrifying for one reason people don't talk about enough. It completely destroys the idea that strength matters. Most anime power systems reward durability. Bigger character, more cursed energy, stronger defense. But Mahito doesn't care about any of that. If your soul gets touched, GG's. That's it. Which is honestly crazy when you think about it. That's why Nanami was so scared of him early in the series. Against Mahito, being physically stronger almost doesn't matter. And once the domain opens, it gets worse, because Mahito no longer needs physical contact. The sure hit effect guarantees idle transfiguration lands anyway, so unless you have a direct counter like Yuji or Sukuna, you're basically cooked. And the wildest part is how fast Mahito evolved. People forget this guy was basically a newborn curse. Then suddenly in Shibuya, he's copying Gojo's 0.2 second domain activation like it's nothing. What is Gege even thinking? I genuinely think if Yuji wasn't the perfect counter, Mahito could have become one of the strongest curses in the entire series. But there's another domain that's crazy in a completely different way. Number 4, Deadly Sentencing. I love this domain because it doesn't even feel like a fight. The second Higuruma opens his domain, the whole vibe changes. Nothing flashy. You're just standing in a courtroom realizing this thing already knows every bad thing you've ever done. And what makes the domain cooler is Higuruma himself. This man spent his whole life in courtrooms watching guilty people walk free. Then he gets cursed energy and suddenly he gets to decide justice. That context changes everything. You can feel his frustration inside the domain. And the craziest part is that even Higuruma doesn't fully control the verdict. Judgment acts on its own. So both fighters are basically standing there waiting to hear if someone's about to lose their curse technique or straight up get the death penalty. You never fully know what's coming. And that alone makes this domain terrifying. People also don't talk enough about how broken confiscation really is. Your curse technique is basically your whole fighting style. Taking it away simply means you die. That's how Higuruma got so many kills in Shibuya. Then there's the Executioner's Sword, which is still one of the dumbest abilities Gege has ever made in the best way possible. One hit and you die, and Higuruma learned all this in a few weeks. That is actually insane when you think about it. Now, number 3 was honestly hard to place because purely off fear factor, this might be number 1. I don't even think damage is the right word for what Gojo's domain does. Unlimited Void attacks your mind itself. The moment you're trapped inside, your brain gets flooded with endless information over and over until your body completely stops responding. And what makes this domain so disturbing is that we've never actually seen someone survive the full version of it. Think about that for a second. Jogo got destroyed almost instantly. Regular humans in Shibuya were exposed for only 0.2 seconds and still needed months to recover. A little longer, and they probably would have died. That means Gojo's merciful version already permanently damaged people. So what does the full thing actually do? Honestly, Gege never fully showing us is sad. Would have loved to see a fully hit Unlimited Void. And there's another detail I really love. Gojo's domain reflects his personality perfectly. Infinity isolates him from everyone emotionally, and Unlimited Void literally forces people to experience infinity itself. It's less like an attack and more like forcing somebody to live inside of Gojo's mind for a few seconds, which honestly sounds horrifying. But even with all that, these next two are on a completely different level. At number 2, I've got Malevolent Shrine. And yeah, I already know some people are going to say this should be number 1. I get it. Sukuna's domain is still the most terrifying display of power we've seen in the series, because unlike every other domain, Sukuna doesn't even close a barrier. Think about how insane that is for a second. Domains are supposed to trap you inside. That's the entire concept. For Sukuna, these rules don't apply. And because he leaves an escape route open, he gets rewarded with even more range through a binding vow. That is so broken. A 200-meter zone where everything gets shredded by cleave and dismantle. Buildings, curses, people. It doesn't matter. If you're inside that radius, you're done. And what makes Malevolent Shrine even scarier is how calm Sukuna is while using it. Gojo's domain feels overwhelming, Mahito's feels creepy, Sukuna's feels natural. During the Gojo fight, Gege somehow made it even more ridiculous. Sukuna started changing the conditions of the domain mid-fight, shrinking the range to boost output and adapting on the fly against the strongest sorcerer of today. Like, what are you even supposed to do against that? But, even with all that, there's still one ability I can't put below it, because Malevolent Shrine is still a domain. Takaba's power is a cheat code. At number 1, I'm putting Takaba's Comedian. This is not a joke. The reason this ability is so terrifying is because it completely ignores logic. Every fighter has rules. Even Gojo. Takaba feels like Gege temporarily cheated the power system whenever he thinks something would be funny. The craziest part is that Takaba himself barely even understands how broken he is. His ability turns whatever he genuinely finds funny into reality. If Takaba thinks something would be funny, the world just bends around it. Which means fighting him, normally, becomes almost impossible. It's even said that he could rival Gojo's domain. And the Kenjaku fight proved it perfectly. This is one of the smartest and most dangerous characters in the series. A man who lived for centuries, manipulated the whole world, outplayed everyone, and even he couldn't overpower Takaba directly. He had to figure out what was happening and then actually play along with it. That's actually insane when you think about it. And the more I think about Takaba, the scarier he gets. Because imagine if someone with Sukuna's mentality had that ability, or Gojo's intelligence. That's why I genuinely think Takaba has the most unfair, domain-like power. Not because it causes the most destruction, but because it attacks the one thing every other character relies on: the rules.